Hey, hello, we're live now. So good to have you here. I see lots of people here already with us. So that's great, right? So welcome everyone. We're going to be discussing here today how you can use events, right, to your advantage, right? How you can share your knowledge, share what you know in a way that you can get more attention for your career, better jobs, that you can participate more in things, you can work on awesome projects. So what I want to start with is just kind of saying hello, right? So if you can see me, if the sound is good, if whatever you are, we're transmitting this to YouTube, to a couple of channels on YouTube, to Facebook, to LinkedIn. So wherever you are, tell here on the chat, right? Or on the comments below, right? So, tell where you are, where you're from, ask questions, right? If for some reason, so hello, Vishal, how are you doing? Awesome, we already have someone here already participated. If for some reason your comments, I'm not seeing your comment, if I'm not reading your comments, maybe you want to, depending where you are, might not be working. So maybe you want to go to YouTube to watch that on YouTube. Works great, right? So let me see here. Visha is saying hello. Hey, hello, how are you doing? Eduardo is also here with us. So hey, Eduardo, good to have you here. Milton is in Santa Catarina, Florianópolis, here in Brazil, right? So, hey, Milton, how you doing, man? Awesome. Roger, hey, Roger, so long I don't see you, man. Where's Juggy? Well, yeah, we could even bring Juggy into this call. I think he's right there. I can, he might be on it. He might want to talk a little bit with us. That's great. All right. So then I have Eduardo Adriano is here also from São Paulo, Brazil. So that's good. Awesome. So good to have all of you here. So today, we're going to have a very, very interactive discussion because we want to help you start participating on events, start sharing what you know. So we're going to discuss a little bit about sharing. We're going to discuss how you can participate in an event. We even have, right, an awesome thing that you can do today and get approved for an event today. How about that? Wouldn't that be good that you think about a title, you think about a presentation, you submit to an event, you get approved, right? It's on the same day. Well, the approval is not going to be in the same day, but the whole process we can do here today. And, we have a series of guests here, but I'm going to start, with a very, very good friend of mine. She is responsible for one of the largest developer events in the world, right? And definitely the largest developer events in Latin America. So let me get here. My good friend Yara Senge. Hey Yara, how are you doing?
Hey Bruno, I'm very happy and honored to be here. I remember that those old times all together trying to get approved to Java 1. So that's the process, right? We think, we understand why, what we want. And I'm very glad to see that you keep helping people to achieve their goals and get where they want to. So I'm honored to be here with you today. Thank you.
Oh, it's definitely my honor, Yara. Being we work it so many times in events, right? And tech for HR. I don't know the name of that person here saying, right? Java 1 events, right? So it was that great? It was great, Yara. So when you participate on Java 1, that was great for your career, right, Yara?
It was awesome. Many things. I always tell people, I don't care if you like Java or not, but it changed my life in so many reasons. It allows me to have everything I have today. So it was part of my story. I grow a lot as a speaker, as a professional, as an individual. So Java 1 was a very important part of my life and bring me energy to learn more, to share, to talk to people. And who I never thought, I never imagined I could talk long conversations. So very, very good. Roger. Good to see you are part of that story too. Ah, Bruno, it's your
Okay, yeah.
audio.
So,
Okay.
all right. Okay, so yeah, so Roger is here. Roger's talking about Juggy. So Roger Brinkley, a good friend of ours, right? He came to Brazil many times, and at Java One lots of times. I still remember, Roger, that time that we went to a little hole in the wall in San Francisco, and we ate like a 1 pound piece of meat, right? So thanks, man, for being with us for so many years. Awesome. So Yara, can I bring the other guests here? Right?
Sure, let's do it together with friends.
Okay, good. Yeah. So let me bring here a good friend of ours. He lives in the south of Brazil, and he's one of the coordinators of the developers conference, right? So he's gonna coordinate the Java track with you, Albert Bemiro. How Albert? How are you doing, man?
Hey, hello, everyone. It's great to be here with you. Great people. Yeah.
All right. So Albert, how it is the whole effort of organizing the Java track at TDC? The event's going to be a month from now. So how is the whole organization of the Java track?
Yeah, we're organizing in a group of 6 coordinators, and we're receiving submissions from people. And today is the last day. So if you want to submit, if you want to participate in this great event, you still can do it today.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to talk more about this, right? So if you want to submit your talk, we're going to help you out, right? Today, we're going to help you think of a topic and submit. And no matter where you are, TDC is 100% online this year. So wherever you are, you can be a speaker in one of the largest developer events in the world, right? So that's going to be awesome. So Roger's here partying with us, right? So the emojis don't show here on the screen, but anyway. Let me see here who else showed up here. Kleber from Cajamar, São Paulo. Hey Kleber, good to have you here. Maristela, right, is also here with us. She says hello, Bruno. So that's great. Awesome. We have so many great people here. Okay. So let me bring one more coordinator of TDC. He's already here with us in the backstage, but I don't see his camera, so I'm not sure if I should. Yeah, I see his camera now. Okay, good. All right. So let me call another coordinator of TDC. He's coordinating the microservice and API track, and he's doing a great job by mentoring people. So with you guys, Aguinaldo. Hey, Aguinaldo, how are you doing, man?
Hi, Bruno. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to be here with you. So let's talk about sharing, and this new word for me too is I start this year. So let's talk about it.
Awesome, Aguinaldo. So Aguinaldo, tell me how is being organizing the microservice track at TDC?
It's an amazing experience because now I have the opportunity to work with other participants in this group, so I can see the care that they work with this, selecting the talks and organize the event and how the process to this is it's work with a lot of love. So they love do this kind of thing. So they love help the community. So for me, it's a good because it's a Nike experience. When I enter in this job, I think, oh, it's more one thing to do. It's it's hard. I don't have time. But the guys transform this job, this task easy because they have a lot of experience and I can learn a lot with them and with the submitters because a lot of great talks. So it's amazing for me to see how the content that this event will be. So I hope to see you there, because it will be amazing.
Awesome. Yes, the event's going to be great. And so, Yara, let me ask one thing before we bring our next guest here, because he's in India, right? So he's going to be here directly from India. So Yara, let me ask one thing. TDC was originally an event in Brazil, things in Portuguese. We had one or other speaker in English, but this time there's a big difference, right? So what's going on this time that everyone everywhere in the world can submit talks?
Yeah, Bruno, I'm so happy with that and so motivated with that, because now we have this layer of 6 international tracks that will be fully presented in English. So we will be connecting people all around the world. So this committee is composed by 36 people from 13 different countries. We have Brazilians that are living outside. We have people originally from these places. And so 6 premium tracks: Cloud, Java, API, microservices, Agile, data, and
DevOps.
And DevOps. So
artificial intelligence.
And artificial intelligence. Cloud and DevOps together, artificial intelligence separated. So we have these 6 tracks. We also have the main stadium track, where it's totally free and people can join using the basic pass. And also we have some tracks being prepared by sponsors. So we already know that Oracle is going to have a track, and Red Hat is bringing lots of content in English and Spanish, and Cloudinary, an European company, it's also bringing some content, and other Brazilian companies and international companies bringing free content for all people all around the world. But we all know that the content is very important and helps us to grow, but the most important is connecting people all around the world, like we see our dear friend Roger Brinkley, which burned his phone in my house in the pizza oven. So, you know, these connections and these stories, it's what makes us to have our relationship stronger and stronger. And that's what we are really targeting with the Developers Conference in this international edition. It's to build something that makes sense, that connects our stories. You know, the first talk you presented at TDC with that track organizers, with that technical committee. So the whole idea is to connect people. And we are all writing software in this connected world. So open source and home office and all that, we have more and more chance to be connected and to have less differences geographically. So that's our goal with TDC.
That's awesome, Yara. That's amazing. That's totally amazing. So Roger is saying a very, very, very good point here, right? He says, you know, if your talk doesn't get accepted, attend the event anyway, right? You know, look, and for TDC, this is easy to do, right? Because based on TDC, you know, we have the basic pass is completely free. No matter where you are in the world, you can have access to a lot of content completely free, right? And so Roger says, if you don't get your talk not accepted, attend the event anyway. Events are much about who we meet, right? And you know, and what you do there. So remember, a lot of young developers catapulted their careers because of you know, events and connections, right? At events. So Yara, you are a like, you know, a master networker, right? You know, I always invite Yara to talk about networking because she does that so well. So on an online event, can we do networking on an online event? Like, you know, like Roger saw, can we meet people on an online event?
Yes, you know, I will make one comment on Rogers and then I go to networking. I was just recording a video right now talking exactly about this, about participating. And the same way as when we are applying to a company, we need to know a little bit about the company, its culture and all that. The same way as to write good software, we must read software. So read and write, not just writing, but also reading software. Being a speaker means that, you know, when we are willing to be a speaker, we watch talks carefully. We see how people, you know, open their talks, how they do live code, how they end their talk in a different perspective. So when we are preparing to be a speaker on a specific conference, as more as we know about the conference, about the style, about the titles, about people, all that is really important. So I really am happy that Roger, a very well-known and experienced speaker, is talking about that, and not just myself, because I strongly agree with that. So even if you are not accepted or not selected in a conference, keep your participation and go there and talk to people. So on an online conference, can we do networking? For sure, right? We don't want to close our possibilities of networking. We must do online networking. We really need to connect to people all around the world. And nowadays we know that we can do almost everything online. Big companies, small companies, everyone can do things from home. But in an online conference, how can we start, right? So we can start by connecting to people on their social media. So I'm watching a talk, I know, I can check their LinkedIn profile, their Twitter profile, try to look their professional profiles, not their personal thing, So, I think more LinkedIn or Twitter, and then Instagram, or each speaker has their own preferred social media, but not just following them, right? We can start interacting. We can take a picture, we can mention their talk, we can, introduce ourselves, like I was watching your talk, congratulations for that. We can use the chat. So, here in the chat, we see Sergio Lopez, Roger Brinkley, people from, cities we are here. So we can use the chat for that. Lots of tools, like the tools we are using, has their own networking tools. So we can use our time to be there. So no matter if the conference you are going, it's in person or online, the most important thing is be there, right? You cannot be in an in-person conference and spend time only on your phone or with the people you already know. And with the online conferences, it's even easier to just open a new tab, let the speaker there, let the chat there, let the booths there, let everything there, and keep doing your job. Then it's hard to do networking. So if you have the opportunity, leave the conference, be there totally, right? Trying to understand, trying to communicate. If there is question, do question. If there is a Q&A room where you can do specific questions for the speaker, do that. If you can, talk to the organizers, do that. So what I really recommend is be there totally, be there and talk to people, not just listen to talks. That's it.
That's
Bruno.
awesome, Yara. That's awesome. That's awesome. No, that's great. That's great, Yara. So Sergio Lopez said a big hug. So big hug for you, Sergio. So he's watching from LinkedIn. Pratamesh, right, saying hello to Miguel. Hello from Jacareí, São Paulo. Right? I'm just gonna put some of those people here online. So Miguel and Pratash. How do I say his name? So now Eduardo has a great comment about this, Yara. He says that online is much easier to reach the speakers, right? So do you think so? Do you think that when you do an online event, it's easier to talk with the speakers?
I think so. I think, first it's easier if they don't answer or we can't, because when we are face to face, lots of people get intimidated by that. So how I'm going to approach. So on online conferences, it's easy to try. And I think, especially people that are not very communicative, it's easy to try that. And it's easy because, if you are connecting with them on social and things like that, you are already online and they are already online. So it's not that thing like, I'm going to add you 1 hour later or at the end of the day or things. So it's easy to make the fresh communication, like you're talking, it's going on, and I just send you the message. So I'm really big fan of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So with all of that, let me bring one more of our guest here today, right? Because he's here waiting on us. And because look, there's one very important thing is that why would you even participate in an event, right? So the first thing is why you want to participate, like Roger said, you go participate anyway. Why would you even submit a talk, right? So that's like Aguinaldo said, it's more work, you don't have the time. Why would you even do that? So I brought a friend of mine directly from India. So let me bring here Vipin. Hey, Vipin, how you doing, man? So Vipin, you have been, you completely changed your career in the last few months by sharing, right? Giving talks, participating in open source. So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Hi, Bruno. Thanks for having me here. It's amazing opportunity, great opportunity to be with you guys. Okay. And about sharing, I would say 1 year back, 1.5 year back, I met Bruno, and then Bruno helped me to understand importance of sharing, how important sharing is, what are the uh, what are the benefits we have with sharing. He helped me to understand uh, what can I share, what is my focus, what is it I do. So I try to understand that, and that helped me to understand, like I did some exercise, and then that helped me to understand, yes, I have been a Java developer for last 13 years, so this is what I'm good at, this is what I can share. So I started my blog jfeatures.com, and I started posting a new post on new language features every 15 days or 1 month, and that was very helpful. I have a lot of friends over there who are visiting my blog. I have a book or on my blog which is to help Java developers to get best Java job. So it has 5 steps to get best Java jobs, and hundreds of people have downloaded and benefited from that ebook. So that is an amazing opportunity that gives a very satisfying experience. Yes, I'm helping someone, because over 13 years, this is what I learned, this is what I know, and I have been just giving it to people who need it. And also, like, it's not only about that sharing, it is helping me also in my career. Even recently there was a post on LinkedIn from Piara, which is a technical company, and they nominated me as one of the top Java developer in my country, India. So that was an amazing opportunity. You are on a job website, LinkedIn, and somebody is nominated you along with 5 6 other folks and saying these are the top Java developers in India. So such kind of things are really great, and it came to me just because I started sharing. Sharing is like that has the amazing experience. It gives me not only visibility, like I talked about on LinkedIn, but it also helped me to understand technology much better. When I'm writing something, when I'm sharing something, probably I'm writing 10 minutes post, but to write a 10-minute post, I need to do research 10 hours. So that 10 hours I'm studying something, I'm learning something, I'm improving my knowledge. So that's an amazing. So that all is possible just because of sharing. So that's it I wanted to share with you, Bruno. Bruno, we cannot hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. So no, I love the fact that you start sharing and you start participating, and then you're nominated by Payara. I mean, they did this publicly, like on Twitter, saying like one of the 10 the 5 or 6 developers, top developers in India, and you have 30 years of experience, right? And only when you start sharing that people start noticing what you have, right?
That's right. That's right. Even along with sharing, I started my open source contribution journey with OpenJDK, and OpenJDK is an amazing project. All the Java developers are using. So that also gives me a good opportunity to meet a lot of best developers in Java and understand the technology in depth, understand the JVM in depth, understand JVM internals in depth. So that's a huge help for me in my job as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Elber, Aguinaldo, Yara, do you guys have the same experience? But that when you start sharing, things start happening in your life.
Yeah, so I also started sharing a few months ago, and it's making a lot of difference in my career, it's a lot of opportunities are and it's great because it's like Bruno said, you when you share what you know, people start to notice the things you know, and you're not hidden anymore in your company, in your bubble. People start to know what you know and see how you can help them to solve their problems.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Roger says here that when you share, right, sharing leads you to full understanding of your work, right? That's true too. Especially when when you share, people ask you questions, right? So you have to understand more so you can answer the question. So that creates what I call like a spiral, right? The more you share, the more questions you get, the more you have to know about that stuff, and then the more you have to share, right? How about you, Yara? When I met you so many years ago, you were watching a presentation, right? So now you were one of the top speakers, right? So, and not only that, right, you helped so many other speakers. So guys, I'm not sure if you understand that, right? TDC is, from the events that I know, right, it's the one that has more speakers. Like last year, TDC had more than 1,000 speakers. 1,000 speakers. I mean, there are events that don't have that much people, right? So TDC had 1,000 speakers last year, right? So now, and you're providing this opportunity, Yara, for so many people to share. How has sharing changed your life, changed your career?
Yeah, that's really good. We had 1,500 speakers last year, just to be more precise on.
1,500. Oh man, so
1,500
more than I thought. Okay.
I always say, it's like a speaker school. It's a place that it's very open for all kinds of speakers, and new speakers, people that are used to, and so it's a very good place to learn because you can watch and you can try, and there's this process that happens several times a year. So if you are not selected in this edition, you can try again. You don't need to hold 1 year to try again. And we really have dozens of speakers that are speaking for the first time. And we have very good surprises. But being a speaker, I believe that brings lots of things. For me, one big motivation was getting the free pass for the conference. And, in some cases, this is a big deal, right? So,
right.
You get the pass is very expensive, you already have to pay travel, hotel, and all that, and not having to pay the ticket, and having a motivation for yourself and for your company that it works, pay to be there. So when you are a speaker, it's like, I must be there. So you get the time from the company, or it's easier to justify your participation when you are a speaker. So becoming a speaker brings that. Also, it gives reasons for people to speak with you. So when you are on the selected group of speakers, you can participate, your badge says speaker, so it shows everyone that you are a speaker, and this it makes easy sometimes for people to approach you, like, what are you speaking about? What is your talk about? And people can start that conversation easier. You have this wonderful speaker events, so a dinner or moments where you get to meet other speakers, and again you have a reason, you have a what to talk about, so that's really, really good. And also it's a way that you can promote yourself and the conference without saying I'm good, but you can share you as a speaker, helping the conference, helping your community, but also you are promoting yourself. Of course, we need to take care on how we promote ourselves, to be elegant and not to be too snobbish or anything like that. But you have the reason before, during, and after. So your social networks, you can promote something in a very good way that helps to bring authority on a certain topic. Like, she or he was a speaker on that important conference, and it helps people to Google you or to find something about you. So when, somebody looks your name, you'll probably find the TDC page that lists all your talks, and this is interesting for you as well. And and of course, as Roger said, when we are preparing a talk, we get to study more, we get nervous about answering the questions. In my case, it helped me a lot because we had this goal to be an international speaker, and it got me reasons to do tourism on many, many countries, because I was paying myself to be there, to travel and get to know India, get to know France, get to know US, get to know many places. And in my head, it was, you know, I'm having fun and working and having vacation all together. And for me, I love when work and personal life mix, and I can have fun and work and have fun. So I love to be a speaker, and I really motivate lots of people to be there. And I'm honored to have this event that I consider as a giant school for people that wants to be a speaker, and of course for people that are already speakers, well-known speakers. So, and of course, Bruno, you know all that because you helped me to build all this.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing, Yara. That's really, really awesome. So, you know, and by the way, speaking has a lot of opportunities, right? Not only at events, right? So I'm just gonna put here Milton on the chat. He's saying that he's a organizer, right? So he organized Java user groups, and he always have problems to find talkers, right, to participate in an event, right? So, you know, speakers, a lot of user groups, a lot of communities, a lot of universities and you know, technical schools. There's a lot of people that need what you know, that need your knowledge, right? And so the more you speak, the more those people can have some content to improve their lives, right? So I would invite you to come here and submit. So what we're gonna do here today, right? I wanna quickly go over and because I think that's gonna be interesting. If you ever wanted to do to present or to be a speaker, right? What we're gonna do here today is talk about everything you know, everything you need to be a speaker. So first of all, we're gonna talk about how to find topics, right? Because I think that's one question everyone asked me, Bruno, but what kind of topics can I talk, right? We're also gonna talk about you know, how to do a title for your presentation, right? So you can actually have a talk, and then how can you do a description, right? Because a lot of people think that for me to have a presentation, I have to prepare the presentation, prepare the slides. No. For you to have a presentation, you have to be accepted to speak on it somewhere, right? So all you need is a title and a description to get your talk accepted. And then you can work on preparing the presentation, right? And the last thing we're going to talk about is how I can submit, right, the talk to an event, right? And basically, submit, right, the talk to an event. And we're going to actually show you how you can submit. We're going to use TDC as an example, right? So we're going to today, we're going to submit your talk to TDC, right? So if you want to be here with us, we're actually going to do a title, a description, and submit your talk to TDC. So maybe you're going to be a speaker, right? And Jose Diaz saying, I'm always afraid of speaking in English. So Jose, if you get accepted on TDC, we're actually going to help you prepare your talk in English. How about that, right? We do mentorship for speakers at TDC. So we're going to actually help you at this, right? So Maximilian from São Paulo is also here with us. That's great. So let's get started with this here, right? So, you know, let me just kind of see, does anyone have any other thing that you want to talk about here today? Or if we mention those things here, is that good enough for all that? So if you are here, ask questions, right? But I'm going to start briefly talking about topics, right? One of the things that people think. So let's talk a little bit about topics. And what we're going to do here is that I want you to get either a piece of paper or an editor in your computer for you to think about topics, right? So, and Yara, Albert, you know, everyone here, Agnaldo, Vipin, you can give more suggestions. But I'm just going to start with a few suggestions, right? So get your text editor, because a lot of people think, Bruno, you know, the topics that I can talk about, I'm not sure what's important, right? You know, I know lots of different things, or I've done lots of different projects, but I don't know what I can talk about, right? Because everyone's already talking about what I have. So here is my suggestion to you, right? Don't start thinking about what you can talk about. you start thinking about your experience, because what you can talk about is what you know, is what you experience, the things that you did. So I want you to make a list. For example, what are the problems that you faced recently, in the last 6 months or a year, right? What kind of big problems you face, or problems in your work, right? So write that down. Write a list of 2, 3, 5 problems that you face in your work, right? You had to implement some scalability things, or your company had a security issue that you had to work on, or you had a downtime in your project for some reason, right? Or you had a big bug in your project that you had to fix, right? So what are the problems that you faced recently, right? Or problems that you had to solve, right? You had a customer that had a problem, and you had to solve that problem. You had problems that you were not able to solve, right? Those are great ways to give a talk, right? Problems that you're not able to solve. So then you can find out why you're not able to solve it. That's a great thing. So make a list of 2, 3, 5 problems that you faced recently that were experienced for you, right? That's one thing. Second thing that you can think about, right? So what are the projects that you did? Okay, so projects that you participate at, right? So project at your company, project with your friends, maybe an open source project that you had to use, or you had to that you contributed, or you have to explain to someone, right? So what are the projects that you participate? So make a list of 2, 3 projects that you had to participate. But you might say, but Bruno, I only participated in one project because that's the project of my company. Yeah, that's okay. But inside that project, there's a lot of little projects you had to do. And maybe you had to implement a user interface, or maybe you had to implement an API, or maybe you had to to fix a production bug, or you had to deploy the application on the cloud. I mean, those are little projects inside that big project. So list 2, 3, 5 projects that you participated, because all of those could be good topics for you to talk about. The third thing I want to bring your attention to is tools, right? So tools that you use it, right? It could be an open source tool that you had to learn, like a new API, a new library that you had to use, open source, or maybe it could be a tool that your company uses, right? Or a tool that you had to create so other people could solve a problem. So tools, list 2, 3, 4 tools, right? It could be like, oh, I had to learn Git this year. That's great, right? So you had to use a tool. That's a tool. I had to implement things on containers. That's another tool, right? So what are the 2, 3 tools that you had to learn in the last 6 months, the last year, right? So that's another thing you can do. And then the other topics I want you to think about is things that you learned, right? I'm sure on the last year, on the last 6 months, you had to learn lots of different things, right? And things that you learned, it could be videos that you watched, right? That you thought was very interesting. It could be books that you read, right? That you learned something interesting in the books. It could be blogs that you read, right? And made a difference for you, right? So what is that you learned in the last year, right? So what are the things that you watched, books that you read last year that you could? And one interesting thing is that it does not need to be technical or computer related, right? Let's say, for example, I'm going to give an example, right? Let's say, for example, you read a book about negotiation. It's not technical, or it's something that you read because you wanted to read. Now, can you apply the knowledge you get in that book into a technical context? So, for example, can you give a talk about how you can apply the negotiation skills that you learned to negotiate on your project, right? To say no to your boss that he wants to do something wrong in the project, right? Or to negotiate with a customer, right? How to implement a feature, or to use your negotiation skills to convince your team to adopt a technology, right? So you can things that you read, you can apply to the problems, to the projects, to the tools that you learn, right? So I want you to take a minute here. I'm going to ask here everyone else their opinion, right? So I want to take you a minute here for you to think about those things, right? Because I want you to think, what are the topics? So Vipin, Yara, Albert. So what, Aguinaldo? So what do you do to select a topic? What do you do to think about what you're going to talk about? Anyone want to start, Vipin?
I
Yes,
can, but I would love to hear you guys.
Yes, go ahead,
okay.
Vipin.
Okay, I'll start. So, this time in TDC, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to submit my paper for uh, tools Java developers can use to troubleshoot any problem, diagnose any problem in a running application. And that's because I see at my work, when junior developers face some problem, they look up to a senior developer to see, oh, if something goes wrong with the application in production, something is urgent, they call the senior developer and ask, what do we do now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those things, what senior developer does is, there are very, very specific tools, 5 or 6 tools we have in JDK, which comes along with JDK, which anyone can learn and they can become a expert Java developer. And when there is a problem in production, you have to solve it fast. You have to do everything immediately. You don't have even time to call people, right? And you do that, that makes you a great developer. So that's the reason I thought, okay, I should present this stuff in TDC, and I'm going to submit my paper on that.
That's awesome, man. That's great. And so, one interesting thing that you're talking about tools that are like open source tools from OpenJDK, right? So those are not tools that you create yourself, right?
That's right. That's available to everyone, because you are running a Java application, you have JDK, and tools are part of JDK.
That's awesome. So you see, everyone here, right? You can talk about things that you learned that solve the problem. So did you have to use any of those tools, Vipin, in the last year to solve a problem in your company, for example?
Yes, I do that. Like, kind of, I can say these tools, like, every week I use, every week, one day at least I use, because very, very, these are very simple tools. Like, you, at times you try to find out what are the Java processes running on my system. And then at times you try to find out what was the argument I passed to this Java program. So these kind of tools, like, we try to run every day.
Perfect, right? So that's exactly the thing. So for you here, right, you should be thinking about what are the tools that you use every day, right? What are the tools that you use every week, right? So what are the things that change your life in your project? Because that makes a big difference for other people. Because other people, they might not know how those tools, they might not understand how to use them, right? And so when you share your knowledge, when you share what you do, you're going to help other people with that, right? So
Yes,
how about you, Aguinaldo or Albert? How do you guys select your talks or think about what you're going to talk about?
Hi, Bruno.
Go ahead, Aguinaldo.
Thanks.
So Aguinaldo, let me say this. Aguinaldo, you have a mentoring group, right? That you mentor people, right? So how do you select what topic you're going to talk about? In a particular week, for example.
I think about my mentees. I think about the necessity for each one, because they have problems in your specific day, in your projects, and so I need to select content that will help them to solve their problems. Sometimes I study some technologies that it's good for me, it's good for my projects, but not for them. So when I do this work on TDC to select the talks for the uh, microservices and API, we use the approach that Vipin say to us, because we need to select technologies or practices or learnings that we have and share with them to prevent some problems, to improve some techniques, or even use the technology to solve a specific problem. Not only the tool, but to have a specific solution to help the people day by day. So I think we in the our committee use this. I think everyone in the TDC, I think, uses this approach too, because I think it is intention to help people, not to only give them more technology, more things to study. No, it's help them to improve their jobs, to improve their careers, and be more happy. I think this is the we will try to do in your day. I try this with my mentees.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. You just you think about them, right? You think about them, and that makes a big difference, right? And let me bring him here. I just dropped him right there, right? So let me bring him a good friend of mine from Houston, Texas, right? And Scott has been speaking in international conference for quite some time, and Scott is coordinating the Agile track at TDC, right? So hey, Scott, how you doing, man? So what can you tell us about the Agile track and speaking in general? Has it been going good for your career?
Well, yeah. Speaking, if nothing else, has improved my confidence as far as knowing what I know and being able to share that with other people. It's encouraging that I know stuff that other people don't know, and so I'm able to share that. You'd think that I would realize that I know some things that people don't know, but but I guess we all suffer from some level of what do you call it, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we I'm one of those guys who's always learning. I've got stacks of books that I'm constantly reading and trying to learn new things. I'm going to conferences and taking online courses and that sort of thing. So yeah, I should know a few things, and it's exciting to be able to put it all together and put it out there for people. And by doing that, actually, I've become the de facto tech lead of our group, and so people come to me when they're wanting to learn about new things. So yeah, it's been really helpful for my career.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Actually, there's one thing that you did. I'm not sure recently, but some time ago, that you start recording videos for your company, right? Internal videos. So not necessarily just sharing outside, right? You're sharing internally, right? So did that help the process inside your company?
Right. Yeah, we had a communication problem. I work with people in India, and so we only get maybe an hour, maybe two of overlap during our day to work together. And I'm trying to explain to them how the system works and all that, and it just was never. It just wasn't working. I was getting frustrated. They were getting frustrated. So finally, I decided I'd just start recording some videos explaining, okay, you've got a bug to fix. Here's what it looks like. Here's the steps you go through. Here's where you would look to find the things that you need to do. And that way, we didn't have the communication problem. They could start working on something, and if they got stuck, they could just go back to the video and start looking at that. So that was a real game changer for us in being able to get work done and get people up to speed more quickly. So when somebody new was brought on to the team, then I didn't have to go through and walk through with them how to do everything again. They could just watch the videos, and they were able to get caught up quickly. So save my time and frustration and save them as well. Yeah, and I've started.
Yeah, I like to mention that because lots of people think that the only way to share is like going to a big event, right? But there's all kinds of opportunities for us to share inside a company, to our friends, like Agnaldo is doing, that he has this mentor group that are his friends, right? That he's helping out, like you're doing in your company, like user groups, right? Like Milton said that he's a Java group organizer, so user groups. So there's all kinds of opportunities for us to share things, right? So it's not only about, guys, when you think about your topic, when you think about what you're going to share, it's not only about, what is the topic that I can be the only speaker in the planet. No. You can learn things in a book and then teach your guys in your company, and that's useful, right? It's useful for your company, it's useful for you, it's useful for everyone.
Right. Yeah, and I've also, I've started a weekly brown bag group that's very similar, to what you're talking about now. I'm basically, as I'm reading a book, I start basically doing a little book report. These are the things that I'm learning, and start showing them how to implement that sort of thing. And if anybody has any questions or anything on the way, then they come and join the discussion. And it's since we can't go into the office and have these brown bag meetings where we're sharing stuff that we're learning, I'm just sharing it out to the world, and it's kind of fun.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So Roger's already going forward, right? So okay, so before we go forward, before we talk about what Roger's talking about here, I just want to get, if everyone here is with us, right? So I want you, if you're watching this here, I want you to think about what problems you've gone through, what projects you've working on the last six months to a year, what tools you use it, right? And you can say, but Bruno, it's only 6 months. Well, I know. What about everything I worked before? Everything I learned before? Well, that also works, right? But I'm sure that the latest things that you're working with are the ones that like in top of your mind, that maybe you needed to use more recently. So, but if there are other things that you learned a long time ago, like what Roger's suggesting here, right? It's always very useful, because you solve it in your life, in your career, right? You solve it lots of problems. Even if you just start your career, you solve it lots of problems, right? So my suggestion again is for you to think about problems, right? And then once you have a topic, right? It doesn't need to be like a title. It's just a topic, just an idea of what you want to talk about, right? So then we're going to start discussing titles. And so before I start discussing titles, let me say here what Roger wrote here. He says that, my title, if I was doing one, was Letters to a Young Engineer. So first of all, Roger, I'm going to invite you to submit, if you're going to do one, right, to submit that, choose one of the tracks, submit that talk, right? And of course, we have lots of different tracks, right? So you can say Letters to a Young Java Engineer, submit to the Java track, right? You can say Letters to a young cloud engineer and submit to the cloud track, right? So you can adapt that to whatever track you might want to submit. So I'm going to invite you, Roger, to submit a track, man. It would be awesome to have you here as a speaker on TDC, right? This year. So it's the call for paper is open to today, right? So we're here to help you think about your topic. But one thing, think about your title. So let's talk about titles a little bit here. I think Yara wants to say something, right, Yara? Right?
Yes, I want to tell a little secret to Roger. Besides all the tracks, and hi Scott, I'm honored to have you on board. I'm really glad that after so many events, now you are track organizer, part of the committee, so be very welcome. So besides all the 6 tracks, we have the stadium track. And the stadium track is coordinated by me, Bruno, and Julio. So for the international stage, we have some extra slots. So if your talk doesn't apply to any of these great 6 tracks, as Roger said, wants to do a more broad talk, you can do two ways. You can apply to one of these tracks, like the Java track, and aside tell Bruno, I applied to this track, but I would like to be on this more general track, or you can speak directly to Bruno or myself. So we have these extra slots on the stadium track for the international stage, because we have only 2 international tracks per day and 11 Portuguese tracks per day. So we have more slots on the international stage. That's it, Bruno.
Okay, that's totally awesome. That's totally awesome. Actually, that's a very, very good information, Yara, that maybe maybe the coordinators need to understand. So you guys here that you're coordinating the event, if you have people like Roger, for example, right, that that's someone that well, that they would be great for the event, and whatever they're going to speak doesn't necessarily match any of the tracks, feel free to invite those persons, right, to come talk, talk to us here, so we can find a special slot for them. It's not going to be tied to any track, and it's going to be on the main stage. So let us know if you have some good ideas there, right? we actually have, we can't say right now because it's not fully confirmed, but we have a very, 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 very special guest that will be like one of those speakers, right? There's going to be like on the main stage and everything. So yeah, in the next few days, we're going to announce that. That's going to be great.
Someone that maybe created Java or something, right?
Right, maybe, yes, maybe, right? Someone that maybe, right? Okay, all right. So, so Albert, I know you have a time. I'm looking here at Albert's time. So you maybe need to leave. So do you wanna say some last things about your track or something like this before you have to leave, man?
Yeah, I'm one of the coordinators of the Java track, so I would like to invite you to submit your talks, even if you never submitted any talk, if you don't have experience of doing talks. We want you to submit because we need diversity in the track. We need experienced speakers and we need young speakers, because if you only have experienced speakers, the talks starts to be the same in every event. So we need new people doing talks, and we need new ideas, new different point of view. So even if you never did a talk before, you are welcome to submit your talk, and it will be great for your career, for you, for us, for the community, for everyone.
That's awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Albert. And I totally agree with you guys. Look, we need new speakers. That's one thing TDC excels at, right? I just want everyone to understand that TDC is awesome for that. Remember that last year TDC had 1,500 speakers, right? I mean, that's a lot of speakers. Most events don't even have that much attendance, right? Not to mention about speakers. So it is a very large event. It's very welcoming to lots of different technologies, lots of different opportunities. So it's a very welcoming event. And one thing, just to complement what you said, Albert, one thing that TDC does is that we have mentoring for speakers, right? So once you get accepted, can I tell you a secret? I'm going to speak very just for you who are watching here. This year, we are actually expanding the mentorship for everyone that submit the talk. So even if your talk is not approved, you're still gonna get mentorship to get your talk approved, even in the next event, right? For example, right? So not only gonna mentor the speakers that were approved, we also gonna mentor the speakers that submit the talks, right? So submit your talk. Go there, submit your talk. We're gonna show you in a minute how to submit your talk. Submit your talk and come join us. So thanks a lot, Albert, for organizing this. That's awesome, man.
Thank you, guys. I hope to see your submissions, and good luck for you.
Okay, awesome. All right. So so before so we can go a little bit. Dejan says a good question here: is blog a mandatory complement to conference speaking? Okay, that's a great question, right? So Aguinaldo, it's also your time, right? So do you wanna discuss a little bit about your track, and then me and Scott are gonna answer the blogging question. Oh, and we got one more speaker here that came to visit us, right? Okay, so hey, Aguinaldo, talk a little bit about your track so you can leave.
So my track is about API microservices. So I think this year we're gonna talk about important things to microservices and APIs, about the security, about the tools, about the process. So I think it will be a great opportunity to share knowledge, to learn, and like Yara says, to create connection with other people, to see the different perspectives of our technology, of our day by day. So I think it will be a good opportunity for everyone to learn and connect to people, because if I not start this journey to share, I think I never be the opportunity to be here today and get this conversation with you, with Bruno. I never mind this can happen, and this happen. I'm here, so this can happen with you too. So start share, start participate, and we need more diversity in your community because we need to learn more and improve our industry. So I believe in it. I believe that this is the way. I believe when Bruno says that we need to share to improve our careers and help other people. So see you there.
That's awesome, man. Thanks a lot, Ginaldo. Thanks for joining us here, right? So, we have so many good guest speakers here that they will come in and out. We actually have another one, an amazing speaker that just joined us here. That's great. And so thanks a lot, Ginaldo. So let me, Scott.
Sir.
There's a guy here that's, I think that question is for you, man. So the guy says, when is the due date for the call for papers? I'm thinking about doing a talk on refactoring legacy code, right?
Hey, that sounds like a really cool idea.
So Scott is the specialist on legacy code here on our group, right? So and he has a great project called Keep Calm and Refactor that talks about exactly about refactoring legacy code. That's awesome, man. So Steve, and he said that he got his first meetup, his first developer job. Fun fact, Steven says, I got my first software developer job from a meetup. I went to where Bruno was speaking. So awesome, man. You see, good things happen just by participating in an event, right? So that's great, man. Congratulations, Steve. That's so good to hear about that. So Scott, you're gonna work on the agile track.
Right.
So what do you think? You think that Steve should submit a talk about refactoring legacy code?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's if you think about it, pretty much that's what all of us do all the time. We very rarely are working on brand new code, and once we've got our brand new code written, it very quickly becomes legacy code, like by the end of the week. So if you can teach people some of the skills, some of the things that I guess some of the techniques that we use for refactoring and how to recognize code that needs to be refactored. So all of that is critical stuff. If it's a more focused on Java, then it would probably go to the Java track. But if it's more of a general refactoring concepts and that sort of thing, then sure, that'd be very appropriate for the Agile track as well. Your question, I'm more into.
That's awesome. No, yeah, there's some discussion about blogging here. I'm gonna delay that a little bit, guys. I'm gonna talk about blogging in a minute because we want to go. Yeah, we want to go forward, talk about titles. And look, exactly the moment we're going to talk about titles, look who showed up, right? The guy that from the guys that I know that has awesome titles for everything that he does. Let me introduce you guys here. The guy that he's helping us out in all the tracks of TDC. So Elder Moraes, hey Elder, how you doing, man?
Hey, Scott, good to see you, and Bruno. Good to see you. How are you guys? Good to have you here. Well, actually, thank you for having me.
Okay, cool. So Elder, tell me one thing. You've been a prolific speaker, and you're now at Red Hat speaking a lot and lots of different things. You're helping out organize a whole track for Red Hat inside the event. Like that's like talks every single day. I mean, tracks, lots of talks every single day. We organize all of that. So how has been sharing for your career?
Man, sharing, I used to say that was the game changing for my career. Because I'm sorry, I'm missing because I was giving a session in Spanish right now and I'm still a little confused. Because when you share what you know, two things happen. first, you need to study, you need to be prepared, you need to learn more about that stuff that you are sharing. And two, you are helping someone to do something. And when you help someone, first, it's fulfilling because you are helping others. And also, you are creating some kind of authority about that subject. Even if you are a beginner, because even when you are a beginner, that stuff that you just learned, someone don't know that stuff. So you can always share something, even if you just learn something. If you go ahead and uh, create a blog post or record a video or create a small session, you don't need to be on TDC, for example, to share content. You can give a 5-minute session to your colleagues on your company, and you are sharing. But when you do that constantly and continuously, you start helping others continually, you start studying continually, you start learning new stuff continuously. And this, for me and for a lot of people that I know, a lot of people, really change our career for good. And I really would dare to say that everyone that are successful on their career share content, share what they know in some way. Okay, I don't know anybody who are really well succeeded on their career that are not sharing content and sharing knowledge some way. So for me, it's a key skill for you and for your career.
And I totally agree with you, man. I also think the same thing. That's not something that we say a lot, right? That because there might be someone there that's very successful and doesn't share, like one or other person, right? But I agree with you. But on the majority, the vast majority of people that have career success are sharing somehow, right? So that's great. I totally agree with you there. All right, so Elder, you came here on the exciting time, right? Because this is the time we're going to talk about titles, right? Because you know, a title is a very, very, very important thing for your presentation. So, oh no, I know you have just a little bit of time, so I want to get your insights on titles, and also Vipin Vipin, you want to say something before you have to leave, because I know some people have to leave, right? So if you want to say something, open your camera. You can say some less things, but you know, why, Elder? Why are the title very, very important for your for when you submit a presentation? Why titles are so important?
Okay, so think like that. You are member of some event committee, for example, here at TDC. Okay, some tracks here at TDC, the committee, the coordinators, they receive like 50, sometimes 100, sometimes 150 submissions. Okay, and if your title doesn't stand out before those hundreds or even dozens of submissions, the possibility that you will really get the attention of the coordinators when they will read your description is very, very small. So I used to say that the title, it's 60, 70, sometimes 80% of the possibility of you get approved or not. Sometimes the title is so compelling that people will read the description of your submission much more tending to approve you, or to not really approve, but they are so interested on your content that they will read to your description with another eyes, you know. So if you will invest 100% of time on creating a proposal, invest 60-70% on the title, because it's important to have a good description. Okay, don't get me wrong, but the title will be the first thing that people will read on the event agenda. Because when you get to this TDC, man, we have like 1,000 of talks. If you go to one track, it's 7 talks on that track. If you go to the area, it's dozens of talks on that area. So if your title is good enough to stand out, people will go to your talk, people will be interested on you, and talking about being approved, your chances will grow a lot if you write a really compelling title.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And look, that's not a joke, right? When Elder says, spend 80% of the time, right? Because the title is so important that that's 80% of the whole thing is the title. When he says that, he really means it. So, some time ago, Elder was preparing some talks for TDC Florianopolis, right? And he wrote more than 200 titles, right? It was like crazy. He had so many different titles, and we went over, right? We had a lot of discussion. He would ask feedback from lots of different people, what title is good or not. 200 titles to submit some presentation. And he had awesome success that year. He had lots of talks accepted. So yes, investing in the title is amazing. It's very, very important.
And that 200, I think that was 250 maybe. And that 250 titles, I ended up with 12 sessions, 12 really titles, 12 end titles. So because I would like to send like 12 sessions to TDC, and for each session I wrote around 20 titles. So it was like 3 weeks just writing titles for those talks. But it paid off, because in that TDC, I was only really known on the Java track, but I got all my sessions approved. I got my session on big data, on tests, on DevOps, on, I don't remember others. So tracks that people really didn't know me, they really approved my session because I worked hard to write good titles and, of course, good descriptions. And the content was good in the end, and so people came back in the other events. So it really pays off if you invest sometimes on writing a good submission.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So unfortunately, Vipin has to leave, right? And his time zone is not very helpful for him right now. So Vipin has to leave. So Vipin, what would you tell to people here watching us here on the chat? What you tell them? Someone like Oliver, for example, just showed up, and Jose saying, thanks for the tips. What do you say to people that are like, on the fence, right? Oh, do I have the time to submit? Should I submit or not? Today's the last day. Should I do it or not? What do you tell them?
So Bruno, I would tell them, just start. You need to start once. Start it today. Okay, take little steps and start. And if you get stuck anywhere, approach anyone. Any one of us. You can approach me anytime on jfeatures.com. You can go to jfeatures.com. You get my contact information there. You can reach out to Bruno, Elder, amazing folks here, right? So all of we are here to help you to start your sharing, start your talks, paper, submit, conference presentation submission. So yeah, that's the last comment I want to make. Yeah, that's right, Bruno. Thanks for sharing jfeatures.com.
Yes, that's awesome. So I just put his website on the chat, right? So if you want to go jfeatures.com, actually you can get an ebook for free there, right? So that's pretty awesome. All right, so in Elder, before you also have to leave, so what would be your last tip that we have to go? So Vipin, I'm sure Vipin is going to have to leave right now. So Vipin, thanks a lot, man. It was great to have you here, and congratulations for you to submit your talk. I hope to see you at TDC, whatever track you want to submit. So looking forward to see you there.
Sure. Thanks, Bruno. Bye.
Thanks a lot. How about you, Elder? I know you had just let me thank you. I know you had just a tiny little window of time to join us here. Thanks for joining us here. Thanks for helping us organize the whole TDC international event. So what would you tell people that they're like on the fence to submit their talk today or not?
All right. So first, thank you for having me. Thank you all for being here, and congratulations, Yara, Bruno, and everyone for building one more great TDC. Probably my biggest tip on writing good subscription is to really care about it, because I have been working on the committees of a lot of events, and we receive a lot of submissions that people maybe wrote that in 5 minutes. Okay, people just sat down and write a whatever title and whatever description and send it. Okay, the chance to be approved in that way, it's very, very small, unless you are a genius writer that would be able to write a good title and description in 5 minutes, or if you are a very well-known speaker that people really love and know that your talk will be great no matter with the title and description and description. So my biggest tip is, please go ahead and invest some time. Okay, if you don't need to send 12 talks as I do. Okay, because I work with that. But if you are, it's your side job. Write one, but write one great submission, and your chance will be way beyond, way above the others, because a lot of people really don't care about it. So go ahead and invest some time into it.
I would like to say, Elder, I know you need to leave, but thank you. All this building, this international edition is something we dreamed together. It's something we still dream together, and then dreaming, projecting, designing and doing. So I'm really glad to work with people such yourself. So thank you very much. I always say that I love to work together, and you are very inspirational. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Yara. Good to see you.
Yes.
Guys,
thanks very much,
Elder. Gotta go.
Yes, thanks,
bye-bye.
man.
See you.
Thanks for being here with us. Okay, all right. So that's totally awesome. All right, so we're on the let's try to go over our last things that we have to go over here. There's lots of other questions we're gonna answer in a minute. So Tor, hey Tor, good to see you, man. So long that we don't talk, right? So awesome. So Tor is asking some good questions here. There's some other things here. I wanna thank Jose, that he says, amazing job, Bruno. Thanks for sharing your tips on submitting an English proposal for TDC. Well, thank you, Jose, for being here, and thank everyone that was here with us, right? So thank Yara, Scott, and Aguinaldo, Elder, Albert, right? Everyone that joined us here, Viping, right, for sharing their stories and everything. It's great to be here with friends. So, but let me quickly talk about titles here, so we can get. So now that you have a topic, right? How do you do title? Lots of people want to talk about when they want to do the title. They want to talk about the solution, right? So I want to talk about Git. So I want to put Git on the top, right? So learn Git, right? So I want to talk about the solution. But the problem is people don't know about the solution. If they knew about the solution, they would be using the solution and not trying to learn about it, right? So if people don't know about the solution, people only know about the problem, right? It's like when you go to a doctor. You go to the doctor and say, "Hey, doctor, I have a headache," right? That's why you don't know what your headache is from, right? The doctor's the one that so that's why you go to the doctor, right? And so basically, people know about the problem. The problem is the symptom, right? It's the symptom that they're going through. So on your title, talk about the problem that your solution solves, right? This is a great way because it will make your talk show up better, right? Let's imagine how many people you think are going to talk about Spring, or going to talk about Java, or you're going to talk about deploying application. I mean, there's lots of people going to talk about the same things, right? But if you mention the problem you're going to solve in your talk, right? The problem you're going to talk about, you're going to get in a better situation from everyone else, right? Basically, what's going to happen is that your talk is going to be different because you're going to talk about a specific problem. So the title has the problem. So the title is not about the solution. The title is about the problem. So let me just get to the title that's Roger mentioned here, right? I'm just going to put here again. Sorry. Roger said, awesome opportunity for everyone submitting talks, but that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about this one here, right? The title, if I was gonna go, is Letters to a young engineer, right? Notice what he's doing here. You know, he's not talking about the solution. You know, there's nothing in the, you know, it's letters for a young engineer. He's not talking about the solution. He's not specifically talking about a title, but he's hinting about a problem, but he's hinting to a problem. So what problem he mentioned in his title? The problem is, if you're a young engineer, you're going to have lots of problems, right? So I'm an old engineer. So those are the letters I would send to a young engineer so he doesn't have the problem that I had, right? So on his title, very clever title, by the way, Roger, on his title, he hints to there's going to be lots of problems as when you grow up, when you grow as an engineer, you're gonna face lots of problems. Let me help you with that. So you see, mention the problem you're solving on your title, and that is how your title is gonna get in a better way. So there's one title here that someone said here, a talk on refactoring legacy code, right? That was Steven said that, right? He mentioned a topic, not a title, right? But he says refactoring legacy code, that is a solution. A solution to what? That's a problem. So what's the solution that this is going to solve, right? So refactoring legacy code is a solution to what? Is a solution to, you know, slow code, is a solution to to code that you can't turn into microservices. It's a solution to code that is very buggy. So what are those problems that he's going to solve? I don't know. So Scott talks about refactoring legacy code, right? So if Steven submits a talk about refactoring legacy code, he's going to submit the same talk that Scott will submit, right? It's going to be the same title. And so which one is going to be approved? Is Scott's the coordinator of the track? Is Scott's very well known in this area? You know, so you, Steven, you might lose the opportunity because Scott's going to get accepted for this position. Now, if you mention, making your legacy code more performance, right? Now, Scott might submit another talk that is, turn your microservices into, turn your legacy code into microservices. So if you, Steven, if you submit a talk to like a performance track, right? Your talk is going to be approved, not Scott. If Scott submits his talk to a microservice track, he's going to be approved, not you. So you can talk about the problem you're going to solve, right? So that's very, very important. So when you think about titles, think about the problem. Make sense? So does Yara, Scott, do you want to add anything to this discussion here about titles?
I love it. I love it. Everything. I was thinking how great this advice is.
Okay.
I think that's a brilliant idea, and gosh, what's his name was just on? Elder. Thank you, God. Wait. Yeah. He was. You were telling a story about how he came up with 200 titles to a talk that he wanted to present. So, don't go with the first one that you have. I mean, if you work on it for a while, you can come up with something that's going to sell. And the title is what people are going to see. They're not going to read your abstract. They're not going to the attendees and the people who are deciding which talks to do. The title is going to cause you to read the rest.
That's perfect, Scott. That's perfect. So Yara, I know you have to leave probably right now, but there is a question here that I think is done for you, right? So Thor's asking here, is it a responsibility of the developer or the program committee to evaluate the level of the developers and marketing the talks, right? So what do you think? It is the can you just let the committee promote your talk, or you should promote your own talks?
I think it's collaboration, right? I think it's a collaboration, because there's something very special that I call your orbit, people that are around you, and it's very hard that the event will reach those people. And when you promote, then you will reach these people. But I'm reading here and he's also talking about evaluate the skill level of the developer and be marketing promote. Okay, so in terms of promoting, I believe it's two things. We promote you for an audience that maybe doesn't know you, and you promote yourself and your participation in the conference for the people that are already on your orbit, people that you want to know that you are good on that topic, that you will be speaking, that you have an authority on that topic. So I believe both should cooperate on that as always. And regarding the skill level of the developer, I think it's responsibility, the conference can also always advise, but that's what I was telling, that you need to know the conference, right? So I always say that if I am applying for the Agile track, it's a good idea to take a look on the Agile track from last year. So you look what people were talking, what kinds of talk they have and things like that. And you also can communicate with the track organizers. So on our call for paper, you can send a message to the track organizers and get to know what kind of topics they are looking for. So inside at TDC, we know that 48% of the audience have more than 10 years of experience. 20% has between 5 and 10. So we are talking about a very experienced group of developers. But because we have so many tracks on different topics, it's normal that a Java expert goes to the AI track. So he or she has more than 10 years of experience, but on that specific topic, they are beginners. So sometimes it's hard to know, and communication is the best in this case. Try to talk to the organizers, try to talk to the technical committee, and so you do your homework, learning more about the conference, and of course we ask people inside more information, so you can be more sure about what people are looking for. Does this answer?
I love, Yara, that you're always showing how important collaboration is. So I love your phrase, right? We promote you to the people that we know, and you promote us to the people that you know, right? That's awesome, right? Exactly.
Yes, and you promote yourself as well, right?
Yes, and yourself also. Yes, exactly, right? So that's totally awesome. Now, Thor says one thing here that I want to be very clear. So since we're talking about titles, he says, title, let me solve your problems. Yes. That basically that's what you're going to write in the title. Let me solve your problem. But very careful, guys. Don't propose a title that's too generic. That title right there, let me solve your problems. I know Thor is kind of making a fun comment here, but that title there, let me promote your problems. That title there would completely bomb, right? Why? Because it's too generic. I don't know what problem you're going to solve. I don't know what you're going to discuss. I have no idea, right? So you have to put a limit on what kind of problems you're going to solve. Right? So you can say, for example, this talk will solve all your performance problems in Java. That's actually a pretty good title, right? Because now I know what that's going to do. If I have performance problems, I'm going to be interested in that talk, right? But you just say, let me solve your problems. That's just too generic. So, and I'm using Thor's funny comment here, but the reality is lots of people send us very generic talks, right? Very generic titles that doesn't mean anything, and they think it's clever, right? They say, some clever phrase, and they think, oh, that's going to be a clever title. Look, do not submit clever titles. They don't work, right? Don't submit. But then you can say, but Bruno, I saw this, I saw this, I don't know, this big guy, right? I don't know, Venkat or James Gosling or some big evangelist, and they have like a clever title. Yeah, I understand that, but they are very well known, right? So everyone wants them in their event. So it doesn't matter the title they're going to submit because people want them in their event, right? So be very careful of looking at these very, very big names and try to do clever things like they're doing, because they're not being approved by their title, right? So when you get to that position, you can be very clever, right? But before you get there, be descriptive, be specific on your titles, because that's going to help you get your talk approved. So Yara, before you have to leave, what would be the last message you sent to everyone here for them to submit talks today? Because now we're going to show how you can submit talks to TDC. So Yara can start, can talk to us why we should submit talks to TDC. Go ahead, Yara.
I would say, first thing, do it, right? So no matter how many tips you are going to following and all that, it's all a matter of experience. So try it, and you will be known by the track organizers, by people that will read your talks. Try to do it carefully, listen advice. If there is someone that can review your talk or give an opinion on your titles and things like that, it helps a lot. Try to apply specifically for one track. We see lots of people that apply the same talk for 3 tracks, and in general, people don't like that because it's, like Bruno said, a bit too generic. And I would reinforce Roger's advice. Try it, do apply. When you are not selected, I never say approved, I always say selected to any conference, it doesn't mean that you are not good or your talk is not good. It just means that for that event, for that track, for that moment, it doesn't have a fit. So it doesn't mean anything else than that. So keep doing, doesn't, feel sad or avoid the conference. On the other hand, go, show yourself in the conference, talk more, and try again. And that's all a process. So participating and engaging with people is the most important. And in one time you will be approved. So talk more and more about your dream. And as more people will help, will talk, and I'm sure you will make it. So thank you very, very much, Bruno. I'm really sorry about having to leave, but I'm honored with this.
No, Yara, before you leave here, let me just say one thing, because Scott's kind of pinging me here and he's right? We are saying that the submission ends today for TDC, right? That's very true. And so that's the last day for the call for papers. And then Scott's asking me, but it's today, what time, right? So
I will tell you a little secret right now, Bruno.
Go ahead, yes.
We always leave it open for, some hours or half a day. So we do not promote and we don't do anything, but we never close it exactly midnight. We always leave a certain space. We know sometimes people have problems, the system has problems and things like that. So it will finish after, the day in every place in the world. It's
right.
done.
And there's a story to that, right, Yara? Because in the past, we would submit talks to Java 1, right? And then we would be until, because look, Java 1 happened in San Francisco, so it was midnight, San Francisco time. So for us here in Brazil was like 4 o'clock in the morning, right? So we would be together, everyone connected or in the same places sometimes, right? Helping each other write talks until 4 o'clock in the morning, right? But that was when we did not know how things were working, right? So, and then we learned that a lot of times it varied year by year, right? But most years, the submission would be open until, the next day, like half of the next day, right? So exactly for this thing that Yara is talking about. So I know that there are some systems that, you put a specific time and the system closes at that time. We did have problems with like this in the past, but we try to be nice to you that you're submitting, right? So we try to leave some leeway. If you're right there in the middle of the night preparing your talk, be sure that you be able to submit it. But of course, don't leave for the next day, right? Finish your talk before you go to sleep, right? Even if you go to sleep 4 o'clock in the morning, just don't leave for the next day, because then the next day that might not be there. Oh, and by the way, since we're talking about this, there's one little trick, tiny little trick that I think we have to understand. the system that we use has two things. One is that you write your talk, and the second one is that you submit your talk, right? So don't forget to submit your talk because you just wrote it, but there's a little button that says submit, right? So don't forget to do that. All right. So thanks a lot, Yara.
Awesome, Bruno. Thank you, one of my best friends, mentors, and partners.
Thank you.
I'm really glad with that. And Scott, I'm very honored also with your participation. I've seen you in other events, in other TDC, and I'm very happy that we finally are going to work together on this edition. So thank you very much. I appreciate. I know your first option was not Agile, and I appreciate you being open to try this this new challenge on being on the Agile track. I really appreciate that, and hope we can build great connections there.
Flexible, not a problem. It's exciting to work with you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Yara. Have a good meeting. Yeah, I know. It's so good that people have, thanks for being able to join us with us here for a few minutes. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, and if you need me, I'm seeing the messages here. If you need me, maybe in 20 minutes I can come back. Okay.
Well, if you want to come back, feel free. Yes, you're
Okay.
you're very welcome to come back again. Yes, no problem. Don't worry. Yes, feel free. Thanks. All right. So yeah, it's so good. It's so good that we had all those friends that they jump in and out, and I love to have those friends coming here to help you, right? Because that's the chance that we have to meet all of them, right? Okay. So one thing that I'm going to do right now is actually show you guys, give to you the URL where you can submit your talks, right? So I'm just get the URL right here. So we've been talking too much about submitting, but let me get here for where can you submit a talk, right? So just give me 1 second here because I'm going to get the URL here. Okay, 1 second. All right, that's the URL right here. And then we're gonna do a demo for you in a minute on how you can submit, right? So, but this URL here, submit talks to TDC, right? We're actually gonna do a little demo for you in a minute, but here is the URL, right? Okay, so before we do the demo, let me quickly do here. Let me quickly talk about, we talk about titles, right? Now let me talk about another thing, that is the description. Very, very important is the description of your talk, right? So because because that's what you need to submit a talk, right? You submit a title and a description, right? So here is okay. So maybe I'm not sure if you're gonna have time to do that, Scott. But if you want to do a fresh demo, that's what Scott's telling me. He can do a fresh demo, like create a new account, so you guys can see how that works, right? So that's gonna be great. Okay. So one thing I wanted to tell you, everyone they want to submit talks, right? They think about their content, right? Oh, the content is the most important thing of my talk. So what is the content I'm going to do? Yeah, the content is very important, right? But the reality is the content is not the most important thing of your talk. It is very important, but it's not the most important thing of your talk. Why? Because your content doesn't do anything, right? Your content, it's not something out in the vacuum, right? Your content, it helps solves a problem, right? So it's not about the content, it's about the problem that people have. And it's not any problem, it's the problem that someone, a who has a problem. So who has a problem that your content helps to solve. So that's what a talk is, right? A talk is not the content. The talk is the talk is a content that solves a problem from someone, from a who, right? So you have to think about those things. Now, the other important thing is that the content itself doesn't do anything. The content only helps people if they take action, right? When someone takes an action, that's what can solve something, right? It's not the content that solves the problem, it's the action the person watches after they watch the content that solves the problem, right? So your content is the bridge between the problem and the action that people are going to take, right? So when you think about your talk like this, you have who and the problem. That is the title of your presentation, right? You not always have the who, but you're thinking about someone. So for example, Roger said letters to a young engineer. So who? A young engineer, right? What is the problem? Well, the problem that you're going to face, because that I'm going to send letters to you because I've done it. I'm not a young engineer. I've done that. So here are my letters solving all kinds of different problems to you, right? So the title is who plus the problem. And the problem plus a little bit of the content, right? Actually, I'm even going to say this. I'm going to do it a little bit different. The title, the problem, plus the action, plus a little bit of the content. That makes the description. So the description is you talking about the problem and you talking about what happens when the problem is solved, right? So for example, you're going to talk about performance. And so performance, what happens when you solve the problem, the performance problem, right? What happens? It happens that your customers get happy. You can reach out more people, right? When you solve the problem because you took an action, that's what goes in the description. So the content itself doesn't just a little bit of it goes in the description, so people can have an idea what you're going to talk about. But the content, what we call the outline, right, goes into the committee description, right? Every event there's a field. So when you submit a talk, there's three things you submit. You submit a title, you submit a description, and you submit a description for the committee, right? Basically, that's what the outline of your talk. So the committee knows what you're going to talk about, right? So they trust what you're going to talk about, okay? And another important thing for your submission is your bio, right? Your bio is important because your bio shows that you are able to solve the problem and that you know who has the problem. Right? Because you talk about the project you did, and your bio shows the company you work for, the project you're working for, this kind of things, right? So you see, that's what your submission is, right? Your submission is basically around the problem you're going to solve. Make sense? Hopefully that's helpful. So when you do a description is not, it's not about the content. What are you going to talk about? The description is about the problem, is about the actions, about the solution, what happens after you solve the problem. Make sense? So that's the description, right? And so now that you have a topic, you have a topic, you turn the topic into a title, and now you have an idea of what you're going to talk about, and then you can write the description. So now you can submit the talk, right? So Scott, do you want to go ahead and kind of submit the talk by creating a new account, or you want me to do how you want to do that?
I can go ahead. I'll share my screen. Well, no, I can't share my screen.
Yeah, you can share a screen. Yes, go ahead, share a screen.
It's disabled. Oh, there we go. Now I can.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, you got to click the button usually.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Oliver says, thanks a lot. It was a very interesting discussion. I have a great day. Thanks for sharing. Thanks a lot, Oliver. We're still going to answer some of the questions. There's some questions about blogging and anything like this. So we're still going to answer that. So that's your Scott's screen right there. So that's the call for papers. So I'm just going to put the URL again so here's the URL. I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to put it again on the chat, right? So so you guys have that. I'm gonna put a couple of times here so it's very clear. So that's the so can you zoom in a little bit, Scott, so it has less white space around, and yeah, good. All right, so then we can see a little bit better. That's awesome. All right. Okay, so so basically what you're gonna do there, Scott, is like you're gonna create your speaker profile, right? To sign in if you already had a speaker profile. Do you wanna go ahead and create one? Okay.
Okay.
Right. So be careful if you don't want to put any phone numbers, anything like that, right?
Right.
So then you get an email.
Okay. And I'll do the English one.
All right. Perfect. Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Name to use on badges. Phone, WhatsApp.
Phone number. Yeah. Just +1 and that's it. Don't put your phone number right there. No.
The +1.
Yeah. Just +1. Just so. Yeah. And then. Oh, by the way, put a picture. Right. I'm not sure if you're gonna have a picture right now, but very, very important, guys, for you to put pictures. Very important. Very, very, very important that you put a picture, right? And that you put a good picture, right? Don't put a picture like you with lots of things. Put a picture of your face, right? Clean backgrounds, good lighting, right? Put a good picture on your profile, right? Remember that lots of people don't know who you are. Very important that you put a good picture on your profile.
I don't have one right now. I'll get one.
Yeah, don't worry. You don't need to do that right now, Scott. Just kind of, and then you're gonna put your bio and your description there. All right. So on your description, the thing that you should do is that you should put your experience that is related to the talks you're gonna submit. Right. Lots of people put all experience they had in their life. No. Just put the things that are related to the talks you're gonna submit. Okay. That makes a big difference. So Scott, there's a little window right there. You can say hide in the bottom, just so it gets a little, yeah. Right. Just put hide right there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
No problem.
Your Twitter handle. Whatever. I'll put all that stuff in later.
Yeah, put in later. You don't need to put that. So basically, your profile. We're gonna use your profile to create a profile for you on the website, right? So the more information you put there, the more complete it's going to be in the website. So it's very, very important that you do that you put as much information as you can.
Okay, fine.
Evandro is copying to LinkedIn. So thanks a lot, Evandro. Yes, I think that when I paste here, it doesn't go to LinkedIn. So thanks a lot, Evandro, for doing this on LinkedIn. Awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Okay, so now you're ready to submit a proposal, right? So the proposal you have there is going to be like the description, right? I mean the title. Remember, the title is the most important thing. The title, and so so make sure you have a title. Make sure you have a description. Okay. So Scott is too small for me to actually see there. Not because my screen here is gonna be very small. But can you read the names of what is on the top of each box so I can reference the right things?
It's a presentation title, and basically, so you put in the title you're going to put in, the summary of your presentation for the attendee, and then a message for the program committee. So basically, this is a more detailed description of what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So the message for the program committee, you could put an outline of your talk. One thing that I like to do is when the problem we're solving is a real problem that we had in our company or a real problem that we had in a customer, for example. Usually we don't want to say this information. I don't want to say, oh, that's the problem that I solved it on that big bank, right? You don't want to say that on the description, the public description, but you can say that on the message for the committee, right? You can say that, look, guys, I'm going to present the solution that we did for Big Bank X, right? And so we're not going to name the name of the bank, right? But I mean, but it's like a real life problem that this big bank had. So you can do that here it's information that only the committee going to see. It's not going to be public.
There we go. So, and then you select your main language and then the type of talk. So it's going to be online, 35 minutes. And what track you want to be in.
Yeah, for TDC, the international event is only 35 minutes. So, I mean, for other events could be different size, right?
Right. The audience level. So is it going to be everybody? Is it going to be intermediate or expert?
Right.
All right.
One thing that I like to say, I like to put intermediate, right? When you say basic, I mean, we don't use basic in here, right? But lots of events has basic, but I don't like to put basic because basic kind of puts your talk in a like your talk was not ideal for non-basic people, right? So if it is, it's okay to put it, no problem. But I usually like to put intermediate because intermediate you can get your talk that's interesting for beginners, but it's also interesting for professionals, and you can even put some things in about advanced. Very rarely events we want talks that are for very advanced people, but some events have special places for advanced talks, so you could take advantage of that if that's the case.
Right. And then it says what type of presentation will it be? Slides only, slides in code only, no slides but code. So
Right.
I've been burned by that, so I'm going to put on slides only.
Okay.
I am aware of the event privacy policy, where you click right over here to the privacy policy, see what that's all about. Would you allow your presentation slides to be made available and your talk to be recorded and published? Are you interested in presenting this talk in a meetup or a user group? So there you go. And we go here, and then you can preview it.
Yeah, TDC is an event for community, right? So everything that we do is community-based. And so very important that when you say that you are willing to present on a user group thing like this, then we can send your talk as a suggestion to the communities that participate in the event. That's the idea.
Right. And then you can save it.
Right.
So, or go and correct and complete it. I'm sure they can just throw this one out.
Right. Just save it. No problem. Just save it. It's good.
About that.
So now that you save it, the one important point is that it's just save it. It's only you, right? You are the only one to have access to that. It's not submitted yet, right? So make sure that you submit your talk before the deadline, because you can have many drafts and then decide to submit just a few of those.
Right. So, and this is the button you click to submit it.
Right. Now, notice that once you submit it, I think you can still edit it if you want to make this experience there, Scott. After you submit, I think you can still adjust if you want.
Right.
Yeah. So just submit when it's ready, right? And that's gonna be great. And now, if you want to submit your talk to more than one tracks, remember that we don't allow you to choose lots of tracks at once, right? Because we want you to think about each track and submit each presentation to the specific track, right? We don't want you to submit the same presentation to lots of tracks. So if you want to submit a similar presentation, multiple tracks, you're gonna have to create separate presentations.
Right.
All right. So Scott, thanks a lot for the demo. It was great. It was very simple, guys. You don't need your slides. You don't need your presentation done. Any of that is just the title and the description. So go ahead, submit it today. It's going to make a big difference for you. It's going to make a big difference for your career. Actually, I have not a question, but a comment from a friend of mine, Katila. So Katila was yesterday. She was talking to me. I was actually on the car, right? And I even wrote an email about that. I was actually in the car, and she called me and she started asking me questions about. Actually, she was typing me on Discord, and we were discussing about her talk. And one thing that she asked me, she said, "Bruno, should I submit my talk even when I think it's not going to be approved? And the answer is yes. Yes. Submit your talk even if you think it's not going to be approved. Why? First, it's experience for you. You're gonna try it out. You're gonna write a topic. You're gonna have some experience. You're gonna see how it works, right? So that's very important. Second thing is, you don't know if it's gonna be approved or not. You don't, right? A lot of times we submit a talk that's not very well written, and maybe the title is not very good, but it's the exact talk that the organization was looking for, right? And so sometimes the organizer is gonna reach out to you and say, hey, can you resubmit this? Can you improve this thing here? We're needing to complete our track. We're needing this talk, right? But it's not very good. So can you improve it, right? So they'll discuss with you. So submit. You don't know if it's not going to be approved or not. Now, but there's one more important thing. The organizer of the events, get to know who you are. They're gonna read your profile. They're gonna click on the links you did right there. They're gonna watch your YouTube account or your social media accounts. They're gonna know who you are, and so next time they see you, it's gonna be familiarity for them. They're gonna say, "Hey, I know this guy submitted a talk in the past. Let's see he has a better talk right now." So submit. Not only is a good experience for you, but it also puts you in a better position. And last, once you take the time to submit a talk, even if it's not approved, now you have a talk to send to your user group, to send to your company, to send to your friends, to record a YouTube video. Now you have an idea of a talk to present, right? So yes, submit your talk. Very, very important that you do that. Make sense, Scott?
Yep. Very good.
All right. So Scott, just so first to finish here, we have some questions.
Okay.
So I was gonna say, Oliver says here, thanks a lot. Very interesting discussion. Have a great day. So thanks a lot, Oliver. It was great to have you here again. Thanks, Evandro. Right. So Evandro did, he's on LinkedIn. Our chat doesn't post on LinkedIn. So Evandro posts for us the link on LinkedIn. So thanks a lot, Evandro. Appreciate you doing this. Tor says, don't be shy. Yeah, don't be shy. Just go ahead and submit your talk. That's awesome. Where's the question here? Okay, so Jose Diaz says, amazing job, Bruno. Thanks a lot, Jose. Great that you're here with us. Now, Jared says, I'm more into blogging, right? In a blog, you can elaborate more than is possible at most conferences. So that's a very, very good point. So one thing they want to say, hey, Yada's back here, right? So, hey, Yada. So one thing I want to say about this, about, blogging. So yes, so blogging is an awesome complementary to your submission, right? So when you submit a talk and you give a talk in a conference, and I agree with him that he says that, a blog, you can go in more detail. So that's perfect, right? And so on a conference, look, a 1 hour talk or even a 40-minute or 30 minutes talk or a 15 minutes talk, even a 2 hour talk, right? It's less than a blog. Lots of people want to say so many things in a talk, but actually, if you write a text, right, it's, for example, 1 hour recording, right? It's just a couple of pages of content, right? So, a blog, you can go into a lot more details and be, a lot more things, right? You can do like a series of blogs, for example. You can do, so yes. So that's why it's great that you do a presentation and then you point people to your blog where you go into more and deeper detail for those that want, right? So that's a great point, a great way of doing this. So thanks a lot, Gerard, for this comment. But then there's another comment here that's from Dijan. Dijan's asking, is blog mandatory complement to conference speaking? So it's not mandatory. It's a good thing, right? And also, if you have a blog or an article or a book about a topic, mention that on your submission, because the organizer is going to be very, very happy to know that you already discussed that topic somewhere else, right? So So that's what I was going to say about bloggings here a little bit.
Well, related to that, I kind of wanted to mention I've been to a number of conferences, and I don't go there for training. I go there to learn about some new technology, to get just enough of a taste to see whether or not I want to look into it more deeply. And so if you have a blog or a book or some other content that's more related, more in depth to what you're talking about, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So yeah, having a blog would be a terrific way to complement a presentation, or at least be able to refer people to more information, a product website or something.
Right. So Scott, that's a good moment for us to say that, because you do, when you go to a conference, you do have a book that you give out to people, right? As a complement to your talks, right? So can you talk a little bit about this book, and so we can put it here for everyone to download it?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you have like, do you want to share like a screen where you show it, the book, or something like this?
Well,
show at least the page for the book.
Let me get it here. I should have been prepared for you, but no.
All right. Okay. So be prepared. Be prepared for that, and then maybe you can share a screen and put the link here in the chat so I can give to everyone in the chat. So Yara, we just did a demo here of the call for paper for TDC. Scott created his account. So do you have any tips in terms of what do you think people should like really pay attention to when they submit a talk?
I think, I listen lots of track organizers, complaining like the short bio, it's too short. So there are some people that put, I have 2 kids, I love biking, and, no information about themselves, and then it makes the track organizer go look and search outside. So, you don't want to give more work for the track organizers. You want to summarize the relevant information about yourself. So take care also with your short bio, because people are looking that. And I would say...
That's a very good point, Yara. Lots of people kind of say, well, the track organizer can find me online, right? Or can see what I did online. But remember that the track organizer is evaluating dozens, maybe hundreds of talks, right? And so they don't have time. So some of track organizers will take a lot of time, and they might do this, right? But they also might not do this, right? So don't make in a way that is bad for you, right? Because they might not do it.
And I always remember your famous phrase, like, nobody cares about you, they care about what you can offer, right?
That's
so the most important thing in my life are my 2 kids, and I love my dog right now and all that, but this doesn't brings anything for the track organizers or for the technical committee. So if you really want to mention that on your short bio, it's a short bio. If you think that it's really important for you to share in the end. But it's important that on your short bio, you first show why you will be a good speaker for that track. So what is your authority? Did you write a book? It's much more relevant that you tell people that you write a book, or that you have a blog, or that you spoke in other conferences, or your experience, your practical experience, than what you like to do, if you have kids or not, or anything like that. So short bio, it's really important piece of work, and it's good to have, no matter if it's for TDC or for other. Of course, one-line description for the talk, it's not good. People want a little bit more. There are 2 fields, one for you to publish your description on the website, and another one that is just for the committee. So there you can put more information about yourself or about the talk, right? So I'd say, Elder said, if you are going to apply one good talk instead of 5 more or less talks. But I would also encourage you to, if you have time, apply to more than one track. So you never know, as someone that is applying, which track needs more talks. So if you are able to, do a little customization and apply for the Java track and also for the API and microservices track, sometimes you never know. Sometimes the Java track has dozens of submissions and the API doesn't have that many, or things like that. So I would say go ahead and apply to many tracks, as many as you want. Not the same talk, because it's not the same audience. It's different audience, different goals, different problems to solve. But I would encourage you to apply many talks, not 20 different talks. But if you are a speaker, a professional speaker, and you have many talks, I see some famous speakers that they just put, like 10 talks. It means they already have that ready and they apply. So that's what I would say. Collaboration, and communication. So ask your friends, ask Bruno, ask people to do a little review. And I always tell people I'm managing that before I do almost any important thing in life, I always consider others' opinions. So I'm discussing here the video for TDC Connections. I will always send that to Bruno and say, hey friend, can you take a look? Do you think this is good? So I would say do that with people you trust. Sometimes people will respond, others don't have time or things like that. So use your network to do a little review on your submissions if you can. And if you really want to talk, you can communicate with the track organizers. Why not send a message? A message I would recommend. I applied this talk, but I'm really interested in talking in this event. If you need me to do a minor change on the title or the description, or even try to do a change of direction, I can evaluate it. Count on me. So you are opening the doors for the track organizers and telling them that you might be able to do little changes or, making something that will help them. So that would be my tips. And I talk too much, Bruno. I'm sorry.
No, Yadi, don't talk too much. That's perfect, right? All great tips. We all need those tips. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. So, Scott. So Scott has his book here. We're talking about blogs and giving more content. So let me just kind of show Scott's page here. So Scott has this awesome book here, Low-Hanging Code Smells. That's a book about refactoring, right? And you can get completely free if you go to this URL right here. I'm gonna say here, Low-Hanging Code Smells, right? So you can go right here. I'm putting on the chat right there. If I'm also gonna show here on the screen, right? So if anyone wanna do that, maybe you could have a short URL next time, but that one is gonna do right now. So Scott, you give that book when you give a talk. You give that book so people can go deeper on those topics, right? So do you think this helps your audience?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the point of it is it's 5 easy to spot code smells. I mean, to start refactoring, first you have to know what looks wrong, and a lot of people, a surprising number of people don't know where to begin. They say, my code, it's hard to maintain, but I don't know why. But if you can recognize some of these more common code smells, then it's like a light bulb goes off. Okay, now I know what's wrong. And then, of course, knowing the code smell shows you what refactoring is appropriate to start cleaning that up. And really, that's how you start making your code better, a little bit at a time, a little bit every day.
That's good. That's good. So that's one thing you can do, guys. You can do either a blog post or a book or an article, anything that you have that will allow your audience to go deeper on that subject. It's a great thing for you to provide when you're offering that, right? So that is an awesome thing. Now, Scott, this book is part of a series of books, right? So can you put the URL there for the low-hanging books URL so we can actually show that?
Oh,
It's lowhangingbooks.com.
Okay, good point.
Because that one, oh, sorry. Not the one that got the wrong URL. Let me see
Low
here.
hanging book, singular.
Oh, it's,
There you go.
yeah, single. I'm sorry. Low hanging book. Yes. All right. So that book is part of a series of several books about about software, right? So you can do easy things that you can do to improve your career. So you can go ahead. Yeah. So that actually leave the last image right there. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
that's the URL right there. Like a short link if you guys want. And I'm gonna put here on the chat low hanging book. If you guys want that, I'm gonna put that one here. So you can get Scott's book there, and you can get my book about about presenting, right? So low hanging talks that gives you some good ideas on how you can get started on talking. And then there's an architecture book. There's a book about artificial intelligence from Eyal. That's another coordinator of the event. So there's all kinds of good content there for you, completely free. All right. So Douglas saying good information. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Douglas, for being here with us. Georgie Galvão is saying hello, everyone. So thanks a lot, Georgie, for being here with us. All right. So I think we answered all the questions. We've gone to demos. We helped you. Okay. So let me recap what we did here today, right? We, you know what a talk looks like, right? We talk about the content of your talk, the problem, who, your bio, your description, the outline. We talk about everything, the title of your presentation. We talk everything that you need to know about submitting a talk. We thought about how important it is to share. We thought about how okay, so Evandro, again, thanks Evandro for putting the link on LinkedIn. Thanks a lot, Evandro. Yeah, our chat doesn't post to LinkedIn, so Evandro is helping us out there. So thanks a lot, Evandro. So we gave an overview of everything you can do to submit a talk. We did a demo, right, on how you can submit your talk to TDC. The call for paper ends today, right? So the call for paper ends today for the English tracks. So there's 6 tracks you can submit talks to: Java, artificial intelligence, agile, APIs and microservices, cloud and DevOps, and which one am I missing?
Artificial intelligence, data.
Data. Oh, so thanks, Ayala. Data. So 6 talks that you can submit, 6 tracks you can submit, ends today. Even if you're Brazilian but you're going to speak in English, that's awesome. If you're doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can submit. You can be a speaker with us. All right. So that's everything we have to say here today. We answer all the questions. I think we did a good job here today, right? So what do you guys think?
I liked it.
I think so.
Always good to hang out with you, Bruno.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. So any more questions here? I just want to thanks everyone. Oh, Evandro put one more link there, right? So that's a short link. This is a short link for the low-hanging books, right? If you wanna go to the low-hanging books, that's a short link right here. If you want to take a look there. I don't see any more questions. So I think that should be enough, right? Yeah.
We need to leave some time for them to submit, right?
Right, you're right. So Yara, do you have any last things to say? Oh, by the way, if you want to submit something and you get stuck, right? Please follow me on Twitter, follow Yara on Twitter, follow Scott on Twitter. Actually, let me see here. Do we have? I think I have my Twitter here on my name. I'm not sure if you guys have that. So let me put here participant names, right? So yeah. All right, so I have my, okay, so I have my Twitter. So my Twitter is right here on the little box right here, right? So you can follow me on Twitter, ask questions. I can help you out, right? Yeah. So Yari Scott, you can put your Twitter on your name if you want
it's Yara Sanger. Mine is Yara Sanger.
Oh, yours is Yara. So Yara is Yara Sanger on Twitter. That's good. So how about you, Scott? What is your Twitter?
_wish.
So yeah, it's your name. Is your name on Twitter, Scott? Okay, so that's the same. So that's Scott's name on Twitter. So just search for us on Twitter, and if you have any problems, any difficulty, we're gonna help you out to submit the talk, right? So ping us on Twitter, and we're gonna help you out. Okay, that's it. Let's end here. Yara, your last message so we can end.
Let's do it together, right? Let's connect. Let's build this community. Let's, use the best tools we have today to get the results we need. So we can't do everything, but let's use the tools we have to get the best result. That's developer's life, right? Not always we have everything we want or everything we need, but we are here to do the best with the tools we have on hand. So
Perfect.
Let's do it.
Yara, what is the objective of TDC? Why should I submit to TDC? What's the objective of the event?
We want to have everyone growing on their careers, whatever grow means to you, learning, connecting, new opportunities, new technologies. So the idea is that if people grow, communities grow, companies grow, country grow, and we can best solve problems in the world. So the idea is, we can do better by being better, by growing, by being better professionals. So let's join this, let's do it together. And we know that we are better together. So join TDC.
That's perfect. So Scott, if someone is on the fence, if they should submit or not, what would you say?
It's better to submit it and then decide you don't want to present than to not submit and then 2 weeks later go, I really wanted to. So
Awesome.
If you're even thinking about it, do it.
Perfect. Okay, so thanks everyone. Thanks Yara, thanks Scott, thanks to all of our guests that we had here today. Thanks everyone that participated. Thanks for all the questions and all the comments. Please share this video with other people because there's everything they need to know to submit talks. If you know someone that needs that information, share with them. It's going to be awesome. I hope to see you on the Call for Papers TDC. I hope to see you on TDC. Oh, by the way, one last thing. To participate on TDC is, there's all kinds of levels, but you can participate completely free on the international event, on the Portuguese event. So you can register right now. Registrations are open, and you can register for the basic pass for free right now. And if you want to have access to a lot of other things, we also have some other special deals that you can join in, and you can have more access to information. Thanks, everyone. It was great to have you all here. Thanks a lot, Yara, for the big opportunity you're giving all of us. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.